塩が足らぬと申すか。
ええ、食うのはもちろんですが、傷口や仏さんの清めにも入りようでして。
これだけ人死にが続いては、ということじゃな。
ええ、おかげで戦場病にかかる者も多ございます。
そうか。なんとかして塩を手に入れねばな。
After I made my review, my rant and my review of Where Winds Meet, my Soulslike review, because remember, Soulslike SLOP garbage game, abusive trash games get Soulslike reviews. You are going to try to abuse me in a video game, I am going to abuse you in my review. That's it. So many people were saying that Where Winds Meet is a clone of Sekiro. Is that even true? So I went back and played Sekiro again, because I felt like there was something off with the combat of Where Winds Meet. I played Sekiro many years ago, basically when it released. So essentially, the last time I played Sekiro was like 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago. So I didn't remember exactly the combat. I did remember the general idea of the combat, but not the details of the combat. So I went again and played the whole fucking game again, so I could show you exactly why Sekiro is a much better game than Where Winds Meet, and how Where Winds Meet is basically TEMU Sekiro. After I finished Sekiro, I went again and tried to play Where Winds Meet, and what do you know? My abilities, my skills, my combat learning experience, the things that I learned in Sekiro don't translate to Where Winds Meet. How is that even possible, if they are supposed to be clones? I am going to show you 2 videos, and I want you to see if something caught your attention. What do you notice when you are watching these videos? Nothing? Well, let's start with the obvious, the damage. In Sekiro, when you attack, you actually do damage to the enemies, especially the bosses. We are going to focus on the bosses. In Sekiro, when you attack, you actually damage the bosses. In Where Winds Meet, when you attack, you do absolutely fucking nothing to the fucking bosses. It's like you are not even doing anything. You see numbers, but then you turn your eyes to the health bar, to the key bar, and what do you see? You don't see shit. They aren't being reduced. How? It's because you're not doing anything. In Sekiro, you actually get to attack and even punish bosses. You can punish bosses in Sekiro if they fuck up. In Where Winds Meet, you can't fucking do it. In Sekiro, bosses they will sometimes even flinch, allowing you to get some hits in. In Sekiro, when you do damage to the boss, to the health bar, the bosses start recovering their posture bar even slower. In Where Winds Meet, nothing like that even happens. In Where Winds Meet, all that it matters is parrying. Essentially, this game, Where Winds Meet, is a stupid Parry SLOP, parry simulator. You are accusing Sekiro of being a parry simulator when in fact is Where Winds Meet, the actual parry simulator. In Sekiro, the parry button is the same button that you use to guard. So even if you fail to parry, you get to guard the attacks, and the attacks do no damage to you, to your health. A failed parry gets you into a guard, and that guard gets you more posture damage, but it doesn't get to your health. In Where Winds Meet, if you guard, you get damage, like if you are guarding with a shitty shield in Dark Souls or in Elden Ring, it's dog shit. And in Where Winds Meet, the parry button and the guard button are on different fucking buttons, which means you have this artificially difficult shit, because now you have to press 2 different buttons to do similar actions that should be on the same fucking button, but it isn't. And why do you think is that? It's because they are doing this for artificially difficulty purposes. In Sekiro, parrying is actually reliable. In Where Winds Meet, parrying isn't fucking reliable. Why? Because in Where Winds Meet, whenever you parry a string of attacks, a really fast string of attacks, if you fail one of the attacks, the subsequent hits of that string of attacks are going to fucking get you 100% of the time. And a good example of this is the fight with that stupid old man. I don't remember his fucking name, but that old man that you fight at the beginning of the game, he's a fucking cheap fight. He does this fast string of kicks, this fast string of attacks, which are kicks. And if you fail to parry one of his fucking kicks, one of the kicks in that string, you're going to be unable to recuperate from that failed parry, meaning you are going to get hit for the subsequent hits. That is cheap garbage. In Sekiro, your parry is reliable. It doesn't matter if you get hit by an attack, because you can still continue to try to parry the subsequent attacks of a string of attacks, which makes it more forgiving and makes it better for the player. In Sekiro, you have a ton of tools, tons of items, tons of shit that helps you to make fights easier. In Where Winds Meet, nothing like that fucking exists. Yes, you can have these stupid mystic arts and garbage, but doesn't really help, because at the end of the day, in Where Winds Meet, everything is about parrying attacks. It's essentially the real parry simulator. In Sekiro, you have parry. Parrying is actually your main way to defend from enemies, but you also have dodging, you also have jumps that can be used to attack and to counter attack bosses. You have a perfect dodge for thrusting attacks that is Mikiri counter. You also can use running as a defense mechanic. You also have your hook. You also have your prosthetic tools that also help. So in Sekiro you have a ton of fucking options. A ton of options. In Where Winds Meet, nothing aside from parrying helps you at all. If you're trying to dodge in Where Winds Meet, you're wasting your fucking time, because since parrying is the best way to do damage to the boss, you're essentially missing out on damage whenever you dodge attacks. It's stupid. In Sekiro, whenever you learn some new skill, it's actually game changer. Learning new moves in Sekiro can completely change how you play the fucking game. In Where Winds Meet, guess what? Nothing matters with fucking parrying. They even have, this is what is fucking ironic about Where Winds Meet. Where Winds Meet is supposed to be an RPG, but Sekiro behaves more like an RPG than this stupid fucking game. And why is that? Because in Where Winds Meet, you have all these stupid possibilities, all these stupid builds, but then the developers make the fucking game rely on pairing everything. You don't get to use anything that the game gives to you because it's not fucking worth it. And on top of that, they nerf builds. You have the healer builds that are completely nerfed because they can't allow people to just cheese the bosses with healing if they want to. No, you can't have that. So essentially, the first time you fight a boss, you are going to have an 80% reduction to your healing abilities. And your healing weapons do basically no damage. So essentially, you are completely destroying a build just because you can't fucking balance your stupid game. That's your job and you aren't doing it. And you're punishing the player because they are trying to make a build in your stupid bad designed game. So it is really ironic that in Sekiro you have more possibilities in how to approach fights, and in Where Winds Meet it's all about fucking parrying, which is supposed to be the RPG with different builds, with different possibilities. It's just a fucking joke. In Sekiro, the movement of the character, the movement of Sekiro feels really responsive, feels fluid. Some things here and there that aren't as responsive, but if you go and play Where Winds Meet immediately after you play Sekiro, what you're going to notice is how fucking sluggish the character moves in Where Winds Meet. You feel like you are moving through a fucking swamp. It just feels like garbage. The character is unresponsive. They have this stupid, the stupid realistic animations where your character is this stupid sluggish movement that try to make so the game feels realistic. But at the end of the day, the only thing that it does is that it completely fucks up the responsiveness of the game. The type of garbage that you see in games like Red Dead Redemption 2. So the movement in in Where Winds Meet feels like shit compared to Sekiro. In Sekiro, if you need more healing charges to your gourd, to your potion essentially, all you need to do is explore the map and you are going to find these gourd seeds that are going to increase the amount of uses that your healing potion has. And in Sekiro you get a max amount of 9 charges to your potion, which means your margin of error is really high. For a supposedly super hard and punishing game, you get 9 charges to your fucking potion that recovers a shit ton of health. In Where Winds Meet, you start with 1, I believe, or 2, and then you get 3 if you more or less explore the map, and you can get to 5. But to get to 5 charges, you actually need to do a ton of fucking grinding, a ton. And what you can also do is that you can just pay to win. You can just use your credit card and pay for the more expensive battle pass, and you get 2 extra potion slots. So if you pay to win in Where Winds Meet, you get to have more healing just because you're paying. In an overly punishing, artificially difficult garbage trash game, you get 2 extra potion slots if you pay to win. And the fucking fanatics are going to try to make it as if it's not a big of a deal, when it in fact is. In this type of punishing games, any more amount of healing is really helpful. So don't get to me with that fucking bullshit that it doesn't matter, because it does. In Sekiro, exploring makes your character stronger, either by finding these guard seeds or by finding these prayer beads that increase your health. In Sekiro, you get to do more damage whenever you beat a new boss, because each time you beat a boss, you get their memories, and if you consume these memories, you get more damage to your sword. And you can do many of the bosses in different order, so the game more or less gives you a lot of ways to not be stuck into a boss. In Where Winds Meet, it's supposed to be like that, but you never really feel more powerful in Where Winds Meet. They have this stupid shitty mechanic where you have to break through. They limit how much levels you can get, so the game is completely gated. They are gatekeeping progress from players. And why do you think is that? Because they want you to stay playing their stupid game forever. They don't want you to go and play something else. No. They don't want you to forget them. They want you to monopolize your stupid life. This is stupid cancer design of gaming. You can't just finish the fucking game and be done with it. No. You have to be playing the stupid game every single day for years, because they want to consume your life entirely. So whenever you want to increase your level, whenever you want to break through the gatekeeping from the levels, you do a process that is called breaking through. And when you do that, what happens is that you are allowed to keep leveling up, but the enemies and the bosses in particular get much stronger. There are a ton of people. Just do a Google search, dude, and you will find out many people complaining that whenever they broke through, they felt weaker. This is stupid as fuck design. And why do you think is that? They want that because that way you are incentivized to keep playing the stupid game. They are essentially, every time you break through, they are removing power from you. They are artificially removing power from you. So you are stuck playing the stupid game again to recover what you already had. Tell me that is not abusive fucking design. And if you say it's not, you're a fucking retard. You're a fanatic. In Sekiro, there is even a point in the game in which you can farm power, in which you can farm more damage. So it's not even an RPG, and Sekiro has more RPG elements than Where Winds Meet. You can essentially farm in Sekiro damage. If you're having trouble with some bosses, damage is always going to help you, because that means you're going to do more health damage. That means you're going to do more posture damage, and that posture damage is going to stay longer. And the less amount of time it takes you to beat a boss, the less time you have to screw up. The less time you give the boss to do one cheap shot, one cheap attack, one garbage. So this is why doing more damage is important, and Sekiro allows you to get more damage if you're struggling in the endgame. But Where Winds Meet doesn't do that. In Where Winds Meet, they remove power from you. In Where Winds Meet, your fucking attack does nothing. In Sekiro, you're playing actual combat. Now, some of the fights in Sekiro do feel like choreography-like you're playing a fucking choreography. But the majority of the fights in Sekiro are actually not. Sekiro is a great game in that regard in the combat, because you actually feel like you're fighting. The bosses have some turns attacking you, then you can respond and start attacking them and overwhelming them to the point that you can actually corner them. Now, in Sekiro, some bosses do have some attacks that have hyper armor, but for the most part, you can actually punish them. You can actually interrupt them. And this is why some of the bosses in Sekiro feel kind of cheap, because some of their attacks have hyper armor, but you have to understand if they didn't have that, you will be able to just abuse them. So I am not going to get into that because that is something about design philosophy that I just don't want to talk about it right now. But the fact of the matter is that in Sekiro, the combat feels like I am able to respond to the bosses. I am able to fucking attack them. I am not just there to be abused. Sekiro has power. Sekiro is a fucking shinobi. He's a ninja. He's essentially a samurai. And you can actually respond. He can defend himself. His skills do a shit ton of fucking damage too. Now, obviously the bosses do more damage, but Sekiro is not just a fucking pussy that is there just to be abused. And in games like in Where Winds Meet, your character is a fucking pussy. He doesn't do anything. He's just there to be abused. And I don't like that type of shitty game design, that type of shitty combat. It's not even a combat system, because in Sekiro you have shit ton of different options, shit ton of different skills, shit ton of different prosthetic tools, shit ton of fucking items, a ton of fucking options. You can parry, you can dodge, you can jump, you can do a shit ton of different things in combat. You have tons of options. The game is difficult. Sekiro is a difficult game, and whoever says it's not, it's just a fucking retard. He's just one of those useless losers that have nothing in their life, that believe they are better than the other just because they say that a game is easy. But Sekiro is a hard game, but it's a hard game that gives you options. It's a hard game that allows you to overcome the challenge in a fair way. There's some unfair shit on Sekiro. It's not a perfect game, but for the most part, it's a very good game with a really good combat system. And in my opinion, it's the best combat that From Software has pushed out. It's the best combat they have created. Elden Ring is a piece of shit compared to Sekiro, at least in the combat aspect. In Where Winds Meet, the bosses have no fucking openings. Most of them just spam shit after the other, after the other, after the other, and guess what? The shit they spam, they do with hyper armor, so you can't even punish the motherfuckers. So if a boss is committed to attack, you better fucking parry. At the very least, try to dodge that shit, because you are going to be unable to stop that motherfucker. Unlike in Sekiro, where you can actually respond. Oh, you're going to do that shit? Let me get my attack in and fucking stun lock you because you're a bitch. I am not here to be abused. I am here to put you in your stupid place. And sometimes the boss says, I had enough, I'm going to do my attack with hyper armor. And then you respond, you block, you parry, you dodge, you whatever the fuck. But in Where Winds Meet, the combat is just one-sided. You are just there to be abused, to be parrying, and it's fucking boring as fuck. And in Where Winds Meet, the parrying, the only option is parrying, and the parrying is fucking unreliable. It's garbage. It doesn't feel as tight as the parry of Sekiro. In Where Winds Meet, it's really easy to get stun locked. In Sekiro, it's not that easy. Whenever a boss gets a really good hit on you, you're almost always have the chance to avoid the next hit. It's very difficult in Sekiro to be two-shotted or three-shotted by attacks that came consecutively and that you didn't really see them coming. Like, it's not that easy. Sekiro always has the time to recover, and in Where Winds Meet, that's not the case. You can be completely stun locked to death. And on top of everything that I just said, Where Winds Meet has all the characteristics of the typical Soulslike SLOP garbage, which means delayed attacks, spam, instant fucking attacks, roll catchers, camera all over the fucking place, the boss is constantly jumping around, moving to each fucking corner of the map, basically a parry simulator, has one-shots, your stats, your defensive stats specifically do nothing, and in fact your attack stats also do fucking nothing in here, because as you can see, in Where Winds Meet, it's not about doing damage to the boss by attacking. It's about parrying, only about fucking parrying. It's basically choreography like Simon Says or you fucking die. You're learning choreographies instead of combat systems. The bosses with multiple faces, multiple abusive faces that don't even resemble the previous phase. Completely different choreography. And even though Sekiro shares some of those points that I just read to you, the fact of the matter is that Sekiro is not really an abusive game. Not that abusive, and can be a really fun game. Like I said, Sekiro is not perfect. It's still a fucking Souls-like game that came from garbage from software. So of course it's going to have the same abusive bullshit they have been doing through their fucking games since Dark Souls 1. Probably since Demon Souls. But compared to Where Winds Meet, fuck, Sekiro is much fair. I don't understand why people complain about Sekiro. I think it's people that just threw the fucking towel, and it's okay. If you don't like over punishing gameplay, it's in your fucking right to detest and to reject that piece of shit, because I am tired too of this piece of shit design, Soulslike SLOP garbage. But if you dropped Sekiro because you find the game too hard, I think you should try to go back and see that the game has a lot of options. It gives you a lot of leaning, a lot of ways to deal with situations, with bosses. You have shit ton of items that recover your health. You just need to use them. It's very easy in Sekiro to do bosses on your first try. It's very easy because the game gives you a shit ton of options to recuperate. To recover, you can even resurrect in battle. Where Winsmith is a game about just being punishing for no fucking reason. Well, there is a reason, and the reason why Where Winsmith is a punishing game, it's because they want to keep you playing. It's because they want to abuse you, so you have the illusion that if you get through the next breakthrough, you're going to be able to now stomp the boss. But you're going to find out that that is not the case really quickly, and if you're not stupid and if you don't have battered wife syndrome, you're going to stop playing that shit, because you're going to realize that the game is removing power from you each time you break through. They are abusing you. Where Winsmith is a fucking abusive piece of shit game. So no, if you think I'm going to change my mind about that piece of shit game, you're fucking incorrect. The game stays a fucking 3 out of 10. It's a piece of shit abusive garbage game, and the good parts of the game, because there are good parts of Where Winsmith, are completely obfuscated by this piece of shit abusive Soulslike SLOP garbage design. So essentially, Where Winsmith is the real Parry simulator. Where Winsmith is TEMU fucking Sekiro. Piece of shit game.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.